the interaction of the slider that I was talking about is right here on my screen, and you can see it basically has two events. First one is drag and second one is click. So the final outcome of entire effort is going to be this. I assume you already have basic hands-on on Invision Studio, so obviously it's not going to be a beginner level tutorial. So let's get started by opening Invision Studio. I'll choose iPhone X as my artboard size. Basically, this slider interaction uses two kind of triggers. First one is drag and second one is click. So first of all, let's explore how drag and click triggers work. So I have just created a rectangle here, and let's change its fill somewhere around red, and I've just copied the same artboard, and let's change this fill to somewhere around blue and put this into the bottom. Now to preview the entire thing, you can basically use this play button. Now I want to add interaction, so I will click on this bold icon and I want to change this state to this. So the trigger is going to be click, transition is going to be motion, and let's save. Let's see what magic have Invision Studio have did. Wow. So this is how click interaction is working right here. Now, if I just change the trigger to drag down, for example, and I preview this, just see how the entire definition have changed. Obviously, it is not going to work that way because this artboard does not have any trigger. However, we can just add by clicking on this bold button again, and this time it's going to be drag up, motion as a transition, save, let's play. Alright, now you can just see one thing. If I drag here, it won't work, and obviously in this case it won't work too. Why so? Because here in our layer panel we have added interaction to this particular rectangle, not the entire artboard. So if we want the interaction to happen on entire artboard, what we need to do is remove these interactions, rather add interaction to the entire artboard. Things will be same. We will be using drag down, motion as a transition. Let's save this. Similarly, in this case, drag up and transition as motion, save, let's preview. So now you can just see how it's working. Alright. So obviously you have just got a basic brief how this slider is working. We basically are going to create two artboards. First one will have the initial state and the second one will have the final state. So let's draw this. Let's remove this and start with a new one. Let's choose iPhone X as an artboard again. Okay, so for progress bar we need basically two rectangles. I'll choose this gray for the bottom one and black for the progress meter. Alright, so we need to add one more oval right here. Let's group both of them as progress. Now we need to duplicate this artboard, and in this we want the slider to have this amount of progress. Actually, let's make this around 270 so that it does not exceed this oval. Now let's add interaction to this progress group and choose drag right as a trigger and motion as a transition. Let's save this and let's play and have a look what kind of behavior it is showing. Okay, it won't work that way because we still need to add interaction to this progress group. This time we need drag left, motion as a transition. Just make sure you choose motion as a transition, not the preset. Let's save this and see how does it work. Oops. So it's working fine here. So it's working fine right here. I have already said we need one more interaction, that is click. So I want if an user clicks around here, then again this should point to the same state. For that, what I'm going to use is a rectangle and I'm going to put its fill to 0, but still it exists right there. So let's add interaction to this. Again, this time click will be the trigger, not the drag. Let's save this and have a try. Actually, the rectangle is not visible, but it is physically right there. So it's working way more than fine. Similarly, in this case, we need to add a rectangle here and we can make its fill to 0 and add click as a trigger. Let's save this and have a preview. Voila, it's working fine. So this was the very first part of the slider, and the second is this sliding meter. Now you know how the drag trigger works in Invision Studio, so you can create this by your own. What you need to do is you need to create a long tail of numbers from top to bottom and mask it right here. And you just need to set the initial and final state in the respective artboards. If still you are not able to do it, you can just post in the comment section below and I'll reply you back. And still if things does not get sorted, I'll be putting one more video. And thanks for watching. You can subscribe this channel for more. Goodbye.